So there's an interesting rumor going on in regards to Ubisoft where allegedly they're intentionally promoting this Yasuke narrative with Assassin's Creed Shadows so that the company's stock price would tank. And it's tanking. It's at an all-time decade low at this point. But the reason behind that is that allegedly it will allow Tencent, that firm in China, to more easily take over the company. Remember, we've been covering where AJ Holdings literally pleaded, hey, can you guys sell or go private to somebody if there's a fair price out there in the trade market? Well, there's this conspiracy going on, and I touched on it a little bit. Side scrollers touched on it a little bit, and Endymion, who's the person actually that started the rumor, alleged that there's an insider that shared with him that Ubisoft is using the implementation of Yasuke in Assassin's Creed Shadows to create this public reception where people are steering away from Ubisoft. The stock is tanking. Everything that could go wrong is going wrong with the company, so that it will actually lead to a buyout because the stock would literally be for like cheap. And there's a whole scenario where people are thinking that Tencent is in on it, that they're funding and allowing consulting companies like Sweet Baby Inc. and Hit Detection and Take That to essentially bankrupt studios because people are boycotting wokeness. So it's actually genius if you really want to sit down and think about it. What better way for China to take advantage of a market that they are slowly trying to get their foot in, or even Saudi Arabia get their feet into the Western video game industry so that they can have a bigger spread of influence. I mean, it's actually quite genius. So in Endymion's video, he says they were told Tencent allegedly was a big pusher of Yasuke becoming the main character of Shadows, that Ubisoft, of course, was considering the idea, but Tencent was really the ones that pushed the vision into reality. So it's them egging it on, like, hey, do it. And all along, they're thinking, oh, this is going to tank it. We're going to be able to buy this company. Let's do it. I mean, fuck. Like, that is smart and shady. So going on, allegedly, according to Endymion, Yasuke was pushed because Tencent knew the inclusion of his character as a leading man in a Japanese Assassin's Creed game would raise a lot of eyebrows and cause backlash, essentially. And yeah, they're right, and exactly did that. We saw this petition that had hundreds of thousands of signatures from Japanese gamers and went to the Japanese government. The game's been delayed. Like, everything that can go wrong with Assassin's Creed Shadows has gone wrong. Architecture out of place, Japanese reenactment flags in the game that don't belong there, a fucking little figurine that had a one-legged Tory that was from Nagasaki. You name it. A lot of stuff has been going wrong for this game, and I guess this delaying it for 3 months, supposedly they even said so they could minimize Yasuke's role. It's all interesting. It's all coming down into like a fucking woke stew that Tencent seems to be prepping, like Ratatouille style, right? So going on, Endymion says the discussion surrounding the game has not died down since, for good reason, and they're told decisions like implementing Yasuke, which would lead to many boycotting the game, was something pushed by Tencent investors to purposely tank Ubisoft in order to weaken the company towards an acquisition, effectively leading to Ubisoft as becoming, I guess, worthless. That stock is useless. It's at an all-time decade low, far worth less than it should be, right? And basically, Tencent can walk in and get the company for next to nothing. So this is all allegedly. All allegedly. There's no confirmation here. It's all speculation. But when you really sit down and want to think about it, talk about it, it's kind of genius. Now, remember, not too long ago, back in September, AJ Holdings, or AJ Investments, accused Ubisoft and Tencent of purposely tanking the company in order to lower the stock price to allow the Guillemot family and Tencent to purchase the shares at a reduced price. That's a big accusation, but the more you sit down and take a look at it, the more it makes sense. And it's something that they're doing, that something that these guys are allegedly doing together. That's a big accusation to put in an open letter. They're saying they value the great work that has been done by the Guillemets over the decades, but it's time to move on and restart the business with a new shareholder approach and new management CEO. So they're calling for a new management, a new CEO. And they're even saying that they believe delays of Ubisoft is a part of the strategy to tank the company, saying, in their view, recent delays of certain titles are creating uncertainty amongst investors, which is beneficial for Guillemot and Tencent in order to acquire more shares at an even discounted valuation. And it's currently trading close to 15 euros per share, which is the lowest since 2015, giving them a valuation less than 2 billion euros. That's fucking hardcore. And that supposedly they also blocked potential acquisitions and partnerships that could have been beneficial for the company and shareholders. So they're AJ Holdings is saying, yo, you guys are doing all this on purpose. This kind of, interestingly enough, flew under the radar. It was in September when they said this, and I don't remember too many people, including myself, speculating or talking about this. But now that Endymion is saying he has an insider out here, it's interesting. Apparently, there was also a possible acquisition by KKR and Blackstone in 2022 that expressed interest in acquiring Ubisoft, and it was blocked because of Tencent and the Guillemot family. So they're saying that, hey, this pattern of them blocking acquisitions has prevented much needed restructuring and revitalization that would benefit all the stakeholders of Ubisoft. So I think things right here are going to get ugly. I think things are going to get immensely ugly, especially if there's an inside job here of China somehow conspiring to, I guess, make a company go woke and go broke, especially with this Yasuke narrative. Now, in Endymion's video, he also agreed, saying that it seems like Tencent is the ones who torched your house to the ground and then refused to call the fire department to put it out. And then a week later, they're showing up saying they'll rebuild your house if you pay them. So they're on board with that, and I think that makes sense. And honestly, it is a strategic move, a hell of a strategic move, like Endymion says, on their part. All things considered, they're saving money by ruining Ubisoft, coming in and purchasing it and being able to literally have it for cheap. Honestly, I don't even know if this is the best thing for Ubisoft. If I'm even upset that China would be trying to do some kind of weird behind the scenes shady deal or not. Because honestly, if I was trying to buy Ubisoft, I would want to be spending as little as possible, because this company has definitely fucked itself over time and time again. I mean, just look at all the rumors we've been hearing about Skull and Bones wasting hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't know. To me, like, wow, if Tencent actually is doing this, they're borderline mad scientist, evil genius. So it all makes sense. So I just wanted to give my thoughts about it, because this rumor, I mean, Ubisoft is definitely a shell of its former self at this point, and it's not good. And if Tencent's going to buy, I think it's awfully sus, especially with this rumor floating out there. So we'll see what happens, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below. Subscribe if you're brand new. I'd love for you guys to join the APE Nation. I'll see you on the next one, guys.